What's happening now across the Niagara frontier? News stories, old stories, stuff you know about and stuff you'd never believe. It's the NiagaraHub Soapbox with Craig Avery.
So, today we have our former mayor, Vince Anello, is here. We're glad to see you again. I was just looking at some of the old soapboxes, and we had one. That one day we got into all kinds of different things, and there's always something that's on your mind. So what is it today? What do you got going?
Well, today, I just came from my own show, the Vince Anello show on WJJL 1440, and we had Francine Del Monte on, and what I thought we were going to go was towards the discussion of what's going on in Albany right now with the Sheldon Solver and all, and it's going to involve a lot of other people, I believe. And the fact that now the governor is trying to get some ethics reform done and make it part of the budget, this year's budget. So the budget may be late this year. But at the same time, I don't know if I'm comfortable with tying something that important with something else that's very important and controversial, like the budget, because during the budget, public officials at the state level, they're more concerned about their own districts. So if you're going to make a decision on ethics reform, but it's based on what you're trying to get for your district, I think there'll be a little bit of softening up of what we should really have when it comes to ethics in government, all the way around, in government. But right now the focus is on state government. So we talked a little bit about that. I tried to bring it towards local politics, and election this year is the mayor, a couple council members, and I think it's important that people pay attention to what's going on, because a good mayor and two good councilmen can't get very much done with three lousy council members who form a block and fight everything, okay? Three good council members without a mayor that understands what this city needs can't get anything done either, because it's the mayor proposes, the council disposes. So what we need in this city is a group of public officials that finally decide they're not going to do this for their career. They're not going to do this for the glory and all the the extra benefits you get from being mayor or councilman. You get to be called a lot of different names that you never even heard of before. Things like that.
You learn new things.
You learn new things. You get invited to a lot of chicken dinners. Which is bad for your cholesterol.
They're trying to kill you slowly.
So the thing is, learn about these people. Take the time to really know who they are. Forget what they're saying during the election, because during the election somebody else is telling them what to say because it's got to sound good when it's in the press. Talk to them on eye to eye. Say, okay, what do you think are the problems here in the city of Niagara Falls? And they're going to tell you jobs. Okay, well, look, everybody says that. Now, ask them how they're going to bring jobs back to the city of Niagara Falls.
All right.
Ask them how they're going to do it without the state of New York. Ask them how they're going to do it with spending all the casino money in the day-to-day operation of the city instead of using that money for economic development.
It's all election cliches.
Right, exactly. So say, okay,
Lower taxes, find jobs.
if you're going to bring back the industrial jobs, how does a councilman in that city of Niagara Falls, or how does a mayor in the city of Niagara Falls get involved in bringing these industrial jobs back?
All right.
And the honest answer is, they don't ask me, I can't do anything. Because the only time they're going to call me is when it's time to cut the ribbon and get the picture taken with the governor, in the middle. And you might be like second or third down the line because you got to have your senator there, your assemblyman there, the USA Niagara there. So you might be somewhere in that line, But other than that, what else are you going to do for jobs? But to set the table in the city of Niagara Falls for economic development, then it's everybody's job. And you need the mayor and the council to work together. But that doesn't mean that when the mayor and the council are working together means that you let the mayor do everything. The best way to develop a plan, and even people that learn this in engineering school say that open discussion with the public is where you start. Because you come up with good ideas, bad ideas, but you have an idea in your mind where you want to go. So you just, you work it and direct it, but at least everybody buys into it. That's how we did our plan when I was in office. I didn't start from page one and throw out everything else that was done here in the city of Niagara Falls. I went all the way back to Jake Palillo, got his plan, Galley's plan, Elia's plan, and then what we were going to do was consolidate them so that there would be a working document, or at least a rough blueprint, And that's basically all the mayor can do. But without the council working at it, it's difficult.
Right.
For instance, the things that I'm interested in this year that I feel are important, and I hope the general public feels that they're important, is who is the economic development team that represents the city of Niagara Falls? If you wanted to go to City Hall and ask, I want to talk to the main person involved in economic development here in the city of Niagara Falls, depending on what office you stop, they're going to tell you, well, it's Seth Piccirillo. He's down the road at the old library. Well, Seth is the director of community development, which is a totally different thing than economic development. Mm-hmm. So you might have to assume some of the responsibilities because we don't have one. Okay?
That's what he's doing now.
Right.
Or he's just trying to help anyway. So he.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So the point is, okay, we don't have one. Now, why would a city of Niagara Falls, who's getting all this money from the casino, supposedly for economic development, and rebuilding the city of Niagara Falls, expanding the tourist trade, why wouldn't you have a point person, and I don't mean somebody's relative, I mean somebody that has at least 10 years of experience of successful developments. Not somebody that's, just somebody that, my kid is just getting out of school and he's right into economic development, and he's got a degree and he's got a degree in this and he was head of the class. Yeah, that's great. Bring him into the department because you do need young blood and young ideas. But what you need to invest your money is a person that has a track record of success. Name me the last person in the city of Niagara Falls that assumed that responsibility. Well, I know him, Donald Zucchelli, which we hired, and the council promptly fired by cutting his pay in half. And that's one of the dirty tricks that now the city council does, is if they don't like a department head, what have they done in the last few years?
Bump them down 20 grand.
Cut the engineer's pay, cut the administrator's pay, and in my own gut feeling from having a lot of experience, I think they've threatened other department heads, including the law department. Either it's our way or, you lose a few bucks. So how can you have a good working organization when department heads are worried about their performance and their pay? They have to please the plan that the mayor has and some personal plan that each councilman may have. Because look, a councilman goes to the grocery store, goes to the church, goes to a restaurant, somebody's going to go up to him and say, I've had a pothole in front of my house for 3 years. Well, you're going to make a phone call to the department head, even though you're not supposed to. You do. I did it. They do it. Everybody does it. Say, hey, look, there's a pothole on 77th Street. It's been there for 3 years. When are you guys going to fix it? Or a tree, or whatever. So you do have those kind of personal relationships with the taxpayers. But it shouldn't be where you tell the department head, if you don't go cut that tree or fix that pothole, or do 72nd Street or 77th Street because a councilman forced the engineering department to finish up the street before the water board was prepared. Hello, frozen pipes. Okay? You start threatening department heads and not let them do their job, then it's a problem. So. But I'm glad to see young people that are willing to step forward, like you two guys, and we have one guy behind the camera.
I haven't been called a young person in a long time.
Well, everybody's younger than me now.
It's getting to that point.
Yeah.
Keeping you young, though.
My thing that I've really kind of realized here lately, there's been an increased attendance at the council meetings, it seems. And I think that's the first step, is for people to realize, and for the council actually to realize that that's their bosses sitting out in the audience.
Right.
They're working for the people of the city. If they're allowed to just carry on a meeting with no one there, they can do whatever they want, and the bosses never know how they're performing. The
Right.
best thing, really, I think, is for the public to see these people in action,
Right.
see the ones that are good, and see the ones that aren't so good.
And ask questions.
Are these the people that you want representing you and spending your money
Right.
and making decisions that are going to affect your life, your kids' careers and so forth?
Oh, exactly.
But without that involvement,
No,
the other thing is, and you were getting me a shirt, someone to the thing, and I've been saying lately, just do what you do. Quit blaming the other guy.
Right.
If you run a restaurant, open it when you say it's going to be open. Have your waitresses be pleasant. Have your chef know how to cook.
Right.
If you're a painting company, paint.
Right.
Show up when you say. Just
Right.
do what you do. But what's happening, I think, when you see people in this town, or I don't know if it's just this town, but man, it's hard to get someone to do what they do. You never ask them any more than just paint the damn wall. That's all. That's what you're supposed to do. You're a professional. And when you can't get that done, it's easy for these people to blame the other guy, and it trickles all the way up to
Right.
City Hall. Oh, you can't get anything done in this city because
Right.
of City Hall. Nothing to do with the mayor.
That's the
for
easy
Christ's sake.
way
It's a
out to
lazy
Right,
paper.
but that's and that was a theme of my show today, and the fact that some people tried to misrepresent what I said in an open mic last
Yeah, I didn't get
Thursday.
that. That's why I asked, like, I didn't understand.
that I said that I made a deal with the mayor, about not attacking him, and that I was going to attack Councilman Chalokin. No, the fact of the matter is, I've been attacking Councilman Chalokin, on Facebook and in my show, but for specific reasons. And number one was the budget. The games that he's played in every single budget, and the games that he played in 2012 when the budget was late, and in 2014 when the budget is late, and never ever introduced a resolution to say, we need to address this point because it's a violation of the charter, and I have all the necessary grounds I need to file an Article 78. He agreed with me in 2012 that it was a good idea. His lawyer, Mr. Abramowitz, who passed away since, agreed with that. And then he goes back to the council meeting and talks about how the mayor won't give him the information. Well, he used to complain that about me.
So this was said after his show last Thursday.
Right, after the show.
with the
I
mic
didn't know
on
the mic was still on,
wow.
So he's talking. I didn't get. It was kind of garbled.
Yeah,
and
I
then
said
he
that- I
put
s-
it on the video, and it sounds
Put it
like
on.
Vince did. It was him and the mayor
Yeah,
talking afterwards.
And what I said to the mayor basically was, hey, you got to come here more often. I said, see all the calls that we had. And we had a ton of calls, and plus people dropped off,
Cool.
I said, you need to come here. I said, look, I've been a critic of the trash, pickup. I've been critical of the budget. But mostly I've attacked Chalokian on
Yeah.
when it came to the budget.
And the mayor said he didn't want to come on and be fiddling while
Around.
Rome was burning during the budget
During the
process.
budget, which I
Well,
said
now
to
people
him.
hear different things, and he's going to go fiddle.
Yeah.
While
And-
the budget's burned, or whatever.
Yeah,
it was.
and what
It was
I
like, you're not
said
even
was-
understanding what it is.
And what I said, I agree with you.
Romney with you.
And that's right. And matter of fact, on the open mic, the hot mic, I did say, I can understand that. I sympathize with that because, people, get a picture in their mind. Oh, what the hell is he doing on the Anello show? When the budget is
They're in
late.
cahoots. It was
And you
like-
know that I would have had those kind of comments. So I understood that. I have no problem with it. I have a problem when he doesn't show up for a year.
Right.
Okay, and hopefully he'll show up more often. And if he doesn't, I'll mention it, and I'll keep
Turn the
playing.
mic off after the show. It's either that or you're talking and you hear from the phone being on still. Come on, man, hit that button.
Charlie Brown's parents.
Yeah.
But no, look, the job of a council person and the mayor are difficult. Unfortunately, some people try to make it look more difficult than it really is, because all that it is on the council is a lot of homework. If you do it right, it's a lot of homework, listening to a lot of true confessions from the taxpayers. Some of them are not very nice when they talk to you because, there's this perception that if you're a public official, you're sub-level, subhuman. For
Right,
some,
punching bag for-
you have no feelings. They have a right to call you whatever names they want, And the fact of the matter is, it's council members and public figures to promote that, because during campaigns, what they do, they spend money on negative campaigning
That's the other guy.
to trash the other guy. So when they come to office and they get a little bit of it, all of a sudden it's a big deal. Well, look what you did. I mean, it's just, to me, it's
politics.
Yeah,
Can we all just get along?
well, you don't have to get along, but know your job and do your job. I mean, I was an electrician, and I was on a lot of jobs.
Do your job.
You know, I was on a lot of jobs that I didn't like the guys I was working with. But you know what? I knew one thing. The contractor has to make some money on this job. If he doesn't, we're all gone.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay? It's simple as that. So you know what you did? I went in the morning. If I didn't want to talk to somebody, I didn't talk to them. If I wanted to talk just about the job, that's all I talked about. I didn't talk politics.
Business.
I didn't talk about the guy's sister. I didn't talk about anything, you know? So that's just the way it is. Unfortunately, we've come down to where we have public officials now that feel that the only way they can look good is by making other people look bad. I think you can look good by doing your job, you know, and doing it good,
Yeah.
you know?
Do what you do.
So, but,
Do what you do.
so it's going to be an interesting campaign this year, and I plan to be part of it in the sense that I'm going to make sure that people learn about their candidates, learn about the people that are incumbents and running for office, and
We'll help you with that.
no, I'm gonna make it. That's my crusade. You know, that's my crusade for this year. And so the ones that don't want to come on, I'm going to talk about them on Facebook. I'm going to talk about them on my show. The ones that want to come on, we'll talk about it on the show, and they can defend themselves or make their point. I mean, I would rather have them make their point than be in a position where they have to defend themselves. You know,
Right.
simple
Tell
as
us
that.
what you're gonna do, not
Right.
what you didn't.
Exactly.
So, cool.
Exactly.
Well, and of course, anybody can see you at any of the council meetings. You're always in the
I
audience,
try to be there because
signing autographs. This is a photo op.
you know, what I find interesting about council meetings is because I was a councilor for 6 years, in mayor's office for 4, is that you dread, and I understand where Council Chairman Tuma was going, you dread some of the people that come up to the mic. Because no matter how many times you've answered that question, they're going to come
10
up
minutes.
and hit you with it again and again and again, because the people behind them, they don't understand what's going on or what the person is really saying. After he gets done talking, they clap. So that reinforces what they do. There's one individual that comes at every council meeting, uses up all the 5 minutes, and no, it's not you, Kenny Hamilton, uses up all 5 minutes of the agenda items, when you can speak on agenda items, all 5 minutes for the good of the city, and he constantly up there berating the administration, the council, the police department, the inspections department, all of it. And if only 1/10 of what he says could be backed up with paperwork, all he has to do is file some papers
Improve it.
and just let the judge hear it. If you have the evidence that you say you have, but every single council meeting, it's the same thing over and over and over. So, but what people do,
Yeah. They're clapping because he's done. He thinks that they're clapping because they agree with him.
so again, I think we need to take, all of us, voters, 8,000 people, around 8,000 people voted last election, and the governor was on the ticket, okay?
Wow, yeah.
Niagara Falls is creating their own problems. The very people that think they're fixing them by staying away from the ballot box and like having this own personal demonstration, I'll teach them, I just won't vote. You're making it possible
Right.
for people to get in there. They shouldn't even be allowed in the parking lot of City Hall, let alone in city government, And that's the problem.
There you go.
Hey, how's that?
All right. That
Thank
was
you.
a good one.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.